Yes, there is sound in the video, but you may not have the video from the display I have shown you. So there is a link already I have provided you in the chat box. Kizen, have you gone through it? Okay, did you watch this?
Sir, can you send me that link again?
Yes,
I
there.
I mistakenly left the
Uh,
class, so all the messages there got erased.
fine. Yes. Could you just watch this later?
Yeah, okay, sir.
Okay, there is already now I again send the link, so you can click this or you can save this, and you can this is one for just for the reflection. What is the message? What can you see on the after watching the video and so on? So can you just unmute yourself? And some of you, we have 24 students, 23, 24 connected. What actually did you get from this watching the video?
These
Formal
Yeah,
education can usually affect the way that students see the world.
okay. Education, enlightening, ignorance, and so on. Does it talk about somehow some importance about the education, like enlightenment?
If we let students explore on their own, they'll learn
Good.
better uh, than being taught in a confinement.
That's great. That's your interpretation, and the interpretation of this let's say this essay, this text or this discourse as a whole, let's say, it depends on various, according to different philosophers, different interpreters or critical thinkers. Like from student's perspective, Ekikrit has just his own interpretation. If I interpret this in on my own way, that will again be different. If a politician, suppose, will interpret this, of course, he will find different interpretation, and that's why William Shakespeare has once just said, there is nothing or no meaning of the world in itself. That meaning, the interpretation, that depends on the readers, on the viewers, or on us. How do we interpret something? How do we analyze something? This is we. This is I there. That individual there, that may have different perspective, different interpretations, different realities, and so on. So this is what we discuss in later on. Yes, thank you, Ekikrit. Others, what are your interpretations on this video? This short video after watching for about 5-7 minutes.
There
Yes.
is a difference between real and real life.
Okay. Did you see any such cave, or let's say the underground den?
Yes, sir.
Of course. And you might have seen the people in the den just behaving, or just showing their kinds of perspective to the person just who went outside from the cave, and then again he returned back. What response, what reaction did they make?
So the main difference is that the one who went outside had his vision been what to say,
Enlightened. Okay.
but also his eyesight
Yes.
has been degraded than those who were in the cave.
Mhm.
And while seeing the portrait once again of that illusions,
Yes.
he couldn't
Uh,
see that very clearly, and he was mocked by those other prisoners.
Good. That's illusion, the illusionary world that we see in our surrounding. We think that much is the world. That much, whatever we have known, whatever we have understood so far, or whatever we have seen around us. So this is what our perspective says, or this is what we think. Reality is that much. Truth is that much. But comfort zone, we are in. Suppose we are in the comfort zone, and then we think that much is the reality and ultimate truth. But beyond that, there is something, and hardly we can and we want to go beyond the comfort zone. That is another perspective as well. So thank you very much for your interpretation. Does anyone, some of you, say something more about on the video? Yeah, because I have to give you the space. I've give you the time as well. So if someone of you want to say something more. Okay, if not, so thank you. So can you write in the chat box? Some of you are really very feeling really hesitant in speaking or in your taking part in the interaction here in the class. So can you write in the chat box? How many of you have heard Plato for the first time? Is this your first time that you have been listening this name? Or okay, Pratham Tamrakar has raised the hand. Good. What about others? Utsav and so many. Cities, you have also. Is this your first time that you have heard about Plato? Those who have raised your hands, Riva, is this your first time that you have heard about Plato? Okay, some of you have heard about Malthus, some of we have heard about so many others have raised their hands. It's Plato is new for us. Fine. One Greek philosopher, Plato, Socrates, that simply we know as Socrates, Plato, and there are so many others. Plato was the disciple of Socrates. You have known, if you have not known about Plato, of course you must not have heard about Socrates as well. Mathematician, philosopher, activist, educational activist, let's say, whoever have their contribution in history. So they are radical from the very first in terms of just raising awareness to among the civilians there in the country. So Plato, being the disciple of Socrates, just worked in his theory, later on in his teachings and so on. As you can see about Plato, some sorts of introduction is given there in the PDF as well. So we'll read out them. Further, let me share the screen and then we go into this later on. Only I will talk about briefly. Is the slide visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So very brief introduction. We'll come again to this person, because first of all we watched the very gist only. That's not the whole sum of the theme of the essay. That's very short and very brief introduction. With very brief introduction, then we'll go into the text. Otherwise, the information will be overloaded. That is simply called information overloaded. That hinders us to internalize the text, to understand the text in better way. So first, just to get some ideas on about his life, who actually he was, and then about what is the text about, and so on. This is the essay under philosophy about Allegory. Allegory means simply representation of one in the another form. That here cave has that been represented in the ignorance, enlightenment, and later on what does a person feel after he gets enlightened, he gets educated or education, and so on. So we'll talk about this later, but let's begin briefly talk about what can you see on the screen.
Introduction.
Fine, good. So Plato is actually, though we have not read some extra books in the field of literature or in the field of language and arts, and in the field of even science as well. So these names Socrates, Plato, they are ever famous, with their contribution in different times from the very ancient. They were before BC, before Christ. And as you can see here, that this philosopher was born in BC 428 to 347. He died in 347 BC, and he was born in 428 BC. He was born in one of in an aristocratic family. Aristocratic, we have two social stratas: bourgeois and proletariats, or aristocrats and the poor. So he was born in rich family, rich Athenian family, and he was educated from then best practices, best precepts. He is one of those figures who needs no introduction at all. And due to his achievements in the early stages of civilization, even in Greek civilization or Roman civilization or world civilization, they have contributed, or one of them is Plato. So most prominent figure in the field of philosophy. He is the author of these great masterpieces. They are always been looked at masterpieces like Symposium, The Republic, Apology, and others. And remember, the Allegory of the Cave is taken from The Republic. And what does it do? This talks about the governments and the governance. So best governance, the practices, nature, leadership, and so on. The statesman hood on, and this he talks about what is the nature, the quality of statesmanship in a person who works for the statesmanship or the governance. So from this Republic, this text was written. This text was excerpted or taken from the Republic, one of the ever well-known masterpiece in the field. Somebody has written something in the chat box. Can you read? I'm unable to see right now. Is there? Okay. So Apology and others. There are so many other masterpieces written by this author, and he is renowned Greek philosopher. Plato attempted to dive deeper than anyone ever did before him. Before him means there was Socrates, but he was just punished because of his truth that he propagated in the society, all for the sake of social enlightenment, all for the sake of societal improvement. And in one case, this text has been interpreted as that there is the dialogic form in the text, and the allegory of the cave, but he talks about in indirect way that the guru or his let's say teacher Socrates was just killed by the people, assassinated, and he was thought of that has been regarded in the text as well. We can interpret this in different section, but this Plato has to dive deeper in order to explore the things, the societal practices or governmental practices, like you can see in the Republic. And what he did was human nature he has explored. Philosophy, human does this lots of things. As you can see, the people in the cave ultimately makes laugh. They laugh, and again all this great enthusiasm to the person that who returns back to just tease them, to enlighten them. So in that the human nature that has been explored, this human nature, and Plato has through this characterization explored the human nature, and he has discussed or explored that deeper level of understanding in his masterpieces, either that is Republic or that is Symposium or anything else. So he mainly focused on education. Education means enlightenment. There we can see cave, and there we can see the sun as well. Sun symbolizes the education. Sun symbolizes the enlightenment. And there are two worlds. The first world is under the cave, or just underground den. That is the world of ignorance. That is limited. That is that limited or confined world. The people there in the den or in the cave, they are all limited in their perspectives. They are not gone beyond their horizon of knowledge. Their, let's say, their zone of functional this comfort zone. Let's simply say comfort zone, and they think that that much is the reality. That much is the truth. So unless and until they have not been educated, he talks about in this one interpretation we can say he talks about the importance of education as well. And in the same way, how the availability of this can produce a better person. Education, after getting education, a person, suppose person gets gets education or is enlightened, what actually does he in the society, and how is he looked at society, and what is the person's nature and human nature towards him. So he talks about these various things. One of the most important allegories, he has just represented the theme, the message, and there are so many other allegories as well. Allegories, they talk about indirect way, they represent whatever is supposed to be explored or to be displayed. And in this, among the list, allegory of the cave has made this great contribution in humankind ever, from Plato up to now, or from that thousands years ago to at the present. In even postmodern era, there are so many allegories, but this has always remained one of the prominent, one of the contributory to the human nature, to the humankind. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So good. Thank you. Plato's allegory of the cave, this is one of the most potent, having that exponent, having that wider dynamism that talks about human nature, human sufferings, human realities, human perspectives, and so on. And this has pregnant, as one of the pregnant of all allegories that describe human condition in both its fallen and risen states. Fallen, or let's say uneducated or limited in the limited world, risen in the let's say educated or enlightened world. So even during the cave time, or in the den time, or when the person was limited there, even after he just forcefully somebody dragged him out of the cave, that is risen state. And so what is the condition, what is the nature of human condition in both in under the cave and beyond that, that has description as well. We'll talk about this interpretation as we go into the text. And similarly, Plato's allegory of the cave is one of the most well-known philosophical concepts, well-known, and in history and philosophy. Yes, as I discussed earlier, philosophers should read it, an educationist should read it, a teacher should read it, students should read it. For example, like Ekikrit just has one interpretation there, and one of the other student has one interpretation there. So how to work and what to do for them, how to just flourish their potentiality. Similarly, politician has to read this. Why? Because it has been equally important for all ages of people, or all dimensions of people, or all different fields of people, because it has equal utility in their own field of concern. So this has been equally important in each and every aspect. The human being can either live within the cave or outside of it, cave here symbolizes just limited world, zone of that comfort zone, and also we can go outside of it, but going outside of the cave may be, of course, challenging, difficult. The allegory of the cave is about the existence of two worlds, the world of experience, or let's say experiences. We have so far just we were small children, and we didn't have this much experience, and our world was very limited. Our world in the on the day we got birth, we were limited on our mother's lap, but we got educated, we got admitted into the schools, just acquired a skill somehow. Then our world was slightly different. Now our world, our experiences are different. Our experiences and our world will be different. We should not think that this much is reality that we have got so far. That much is not the reality. That much may not be the truth, because truth may be something beyond that. So it is about two radically different states. Radically different states means one is the stage of ignorance or lack of consciousness, and one is of course is the state of being conscious, enlightened, being aware. So these two radically different life perspectives, awareness, consciousness, or awareness, and ignorance, or ignorance and enlightened, these two states of the people have been very indirectly but very minutely observed in this. We can observe this in the allegory of the cave. So again, this is important. Before you go into the text, why I'm talking all this is you'll read out the text. I know I have provided you there in the notes section. So PDF, download it, and you will enjoy this reading today. Then we'll have further interpretation in our next class. But for that as well, for that better understanding as well, what actually is has the writer done? The essayist has focused what actually he wants, or what are we supposed to and do and understand. That's important. So the text is formatted as a dialogue form between Plato and his brother. So you can see the name there, Glaucon. This Glaucon is his own brother. There is the conversation between in dialogic form. There the text has been patterned, it has been formatted, and within this conversation we can find, or they discuss what would happen if a group of persons, or let's categorize them as group of prisoners, they realized the world they were watching was a lie. They were suffocated, though that was the reality for them. They were not understood, or they were the prisoners by birth in the cave. They were prisoners, and if they realized that world they were watching was a lie, just what would happen? There is a question, and so question and answer, question and conformity, question and let's say agreement is between the participants, between Plato and brother. So you will find Socrates' name there as well. This is in that way the dialogue is there in the text. Plato uses this allegory as a way to discuss the deceptive appearance or deceptive appearances of things we see in the real world. That's represented here. In the real world, we see something or some appearances, and he talks about those deceptive appearances. Through it, he encourages people to focus or on the abstract realm of ideas, go beyond their zone of, let's say that comfort zone. Though that may be challenging, but of course they should go beyond. And this is a kind of encouragement of, after reading this, the allegory of the cave, we are encouraged, and he encourages us as well. To the students, we have to interpret from our level as well. Why is it important for me, for us? So he encourages, let's say, pupil here, not people, also people as well, but to us, to pupil, just to focus on the abstract realm of ideas. So further about this text we will discuss later. but now we'll be reading the text. It may take some 15 minutes to read the text. So let's go into the section there. So far, if you have any questions. So far, if you have any questions based on that we simply discussed about this essayist, this philosopher, and about the allegory of the cave as well. Hope you have just gone through this watching the video. If you have not, there is a link. You will watch this later as well. Okay, let's for about 2 to 3 minutes for the discussion. Then again, we'll start reading. Just let me stop sharing for a while, and then we'll go into this reading section. So, Pratham, is there any question?
No, sir.
Mayuk Sharma, if I am not incorrect.
Sir Mohik Sharma. Yes, sir.
Mayuk, okay. Is there any question based on Plato's, let's say, very general introduction?
No, sir. Not at all.
Okay. Utsav Bhatta. Just let me listen from Anupama Paudel. Can you unmute yourself? Yes. What can you know after this watching and this much listening about the essayist or the philosopher? What did you come to know about so far? Can you share some of the understandings? Anupama, you are unmuted, but there is no sound. I cannot hear you. Can anyone of listen her?
No, sir.
Can you listen, Anupama? She is speaking, perhaps.
Yes, sir.
Can you listen her?
No, sir.
Perhaps she has mic problem. Okay, Barun Tendukar, can you unmute yourself? Barun. Okay, let's listen from, yes. So please, what happened? If you respond, just unmuting yourself, that will be better. And one thing that this is, we are not the students of literature. We should not go in that much depth. Actually, sometimes if I go, okay, mic problem, no matter. We cannot avoid these technical glitches, yes. And as we are connected in the classroom, if we are there, our foremost responsibility is to explore ourselves, to explore the listening, the understanding we have made. Thank you very much. Prasanna Galal, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So far, whatever you have just heard from and also watched from, you have watched the video and whatever you have come to know about the philosopher, about this, simply though, about the allegory of the cave.
Sorry, sir.
So
You
far,
asked.
yeah. So far, have you watched the video?
Yes, sir, but I will rewatch that because my internet connection was not
Not that
stable at that
much
moment.
function.
Yes.
Fine.
Yes.
Okay. And you listen me, yes. I
Yes,
just
sir.
talked
Yes.
about. Okay. Can you just recall that you have heard whatever you came to hear during the session for about 10 minutes?
Sorry, sir.
I showed and I shared some information about Plato, who he was, and what has he discussed in the Allegory of the Cave.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So far, whatever have you come to know? Can you share some? The class is still not over. Don't leave the class. Still, there is some assignment I'm going to provide you. Okay, let's listen from Ekikrit.
Yes, sir. I get, education impacts the lives of people hugely, and we need to be out of our comfort zone or confinement to learn and perceive things completely
Good.
and view the world in a more enlightened way.
Mhm.
I guess that's it, sir.
That's good. So what we do next year is that's important because I have not interpreted in depth about the text. So I have just uploaded the PDF there in the notes section. Please do download this today and start reading from now. Of course, you have another class after 10 minutes, but you will finalize, you will complete this reading within 30 early. It actually takes 15 minutes, but you may take 30 minutes because go in that depth and try to understand the text because it's very simple, in very simple language. Once you read 50% to 60% you will cover. 20% you have just listened about or watched from here as well. So then you can add that 20% there. It's almost 80%. And then after 20% we may bridge that gap. Just after discussion we complete the text. In our next class we interpret what actually is the message, how can we interpret this, analyze this, and so what actually is the story, this, let's say, what it talks about, this dialogic form. Would it be okay?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Now just how many of you have started reading? Has anyone started reading the text? Utsav Bhatta wants to say something. Perhaps people, have you started reading? Okay, where did you buy this from? Good. So did you go through this one, this Allegory of the Cave? Good. 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 Introduction, you have gone through introduction, yes? Good. So everyone just go through this essay. You will, as I said, you will read out this within 20 minutes or 30 minutes. But if you have no clear understanding, again read again, make second reading. Then in second reading you will analyze these all things, and then it is all to expand our horizon of knowledge. And what style has the writer essayist used in this form? As we said, dialogic form. So what dialogue, how dialogue that has been patterned in the text. So then we'll interpret about the text. Okay. In our next class, just you can start reading by reading from here. You can download, have those who do not have, just download this and read out the text from the beginning.
So, but the last page is not clear. The
That
sixth one.
okay, answer. Thank you very much. That is not actually that. Let's say that is an appendix-like thing. That is the text is already completed in the previous page. So that's only glossary, and that unfortunately that happened blurred. No need to worry about that. So you read out only those the pages that are clear. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, let's start reading from the very first. We still have some 8 minutes left. Let me again share that screen and let's read out the text as well. Start reading the text. As I informed you, this is already here. If someone is not clear about this, so you can go into notes and click on it, then do download this. And let me see the attendance. Yeah. Anusa, are you present? Is absent. Barun, how did you join, Barun? Barun, are you there?
Sorry, his mic is not working, sir.
Okay, he has been remain absent for these both classes yesterday and today. So your attendance has not been recorded here. Please do join with the LMS. Yes, you might have been entered with the link, so that does not record your attendance. Please do enter from your LMS. And Mayuk Sharma, also you are not recorded here.
So actually, I've joined from the LMS only.
Then what happened? It does not
I don't know, sir.
recognize.
I came in time also.
Shrestha absent. Ukesh, I saw Ukesh Krishna Shrestha here. Ukesh, are you there? Ukesh, are you there? Barun, okay, yeah, he has raised a hand, and yes, but attendance has not been recorded. Are you listening me? Then what happened? So it may take the attendance it later. Let's wait. And others, Anusar Joshi absent. Varun is showing on Mike Sharma, Mohit. Okay, others present. So thank you. Now just go through this reading, and we will have interpretation later in depth. Once we read the text, then we'll be clear about the text further. Very easy understanding. If you read once, you start reading now. And once if you read, of course you will read it. You will read it twice. That's the nature of this text. So some people have been disconnected as well. Yeah, you can start reading from the beginning. Your attendance, yes, it has not been recorded. Okay, Krishna, and it will be perhaps after I refresh it, it will be taken. Thank you. Is there any question, Rizin? Yeah, you are as well. Barun's also. Have you started reading? And in our next class, just for your confirmation and for your exploration of your ideas on the topic, then you will be presenting yourself for about, because this is, we are only 30 students in the class, so it will be quite effective to present not even a week, but internal wise, yes. 5-6 students will be presenting themselves after they come with this reading. Kizen, is this in PDF form? You said in or Utsav, you said is this in PDF form as well? Is the book or is in hard copy only? How many others you have? Thank you. How many others you have bought it or had managed it? Ekikrit as well. Others? Utsav, Ekikrit, and yeah, do enjoy your reading. If you, yeah, anything to share? Utsav, anything to share? Oh, sorry, Utsaha, yes. Utsaha, yes, good. Utsaha, yes. That has been started named with adjective, yes. Utsaha, umanga, yes. Good. Sorry, who named you? Who named you Utsaha? Okay, so yeah, so enjoy this reading. Just read. You have continued reading, and quite interesting, and especially interesting for this age group as well. You are critical. You have the analytical power, critical thinking, and based on your critical thinking, just you can explore what actually is the government doing. So you can just identify good representatives and bad ones. If they do so, what actually happens from their perspective in society? You can explore human nature, what actually happens there in the human context, human society. So how do they behave, and what education does actually? And overall, there is one interpretation as his guru Socrates was killed by the villagers, by the society, and same is the case that the person who was enlightened then again gets into the cave just to help others as well, to facilitate others, and he was just um, uh, punished there. So that sorts of things we may have the discussion in next class. But if once we all discuss this, it will be not quite good. So this much for today. See you tomorrow in further exploration.
Excuse me, sir, if I may. So, can you do attendance manually?
Yes, of course. I have the register here, so I have been checking the register.
Yes, so
Yeah,
I guess it will be helpful like that.
of course,
Instead of
yes, because so many
relying
and
on LMS, we can do attendance manually.
very good suggestion. I will do that because I have already planned for doing so. I have named here as well. Thank you very much. So we can leave now. Thank you, everyone.